All right, we're going to check out this BCA Bear Creek Arsenal. The BC-9 is what they call it. So it's a bufferless 9mm AR style pistol. Runs on Glock mags, and because it's bufferless, you can put a folding brace on it, which is what I've done. Got a little red dot mounted up here. You can see you got your Picatinny rail clear out here too, so if you want to run iron backup sights or just irons, you can do that as well. Runs off Glock mags, if I didn't say that already. As you can see here, we got quite an array of ammo to try through it. We'll do some accuracy tests. I'm going to do some long range shooting with it down on the rifle range. And then down here on the pistol bay, of course, we're going to knock over some of the steel. Sight charging, obviously, billet upper, billet lower. These newer ones, they now come with this rubberized grip here with the American flag. It's got basically a mil-spec type trigger in it, but to me it feels a little bit better than most of the mil-spec triggers I've used, but that's still how I would describe the way it feels and the break and the weight and all that. You got your removable flash hider there. This is the newest rendition. Again, on top of having the rubber grip there, it also has their new hand guards there. It's M-lock. And when you pull this thing out of the box, they got a little tag attached to it to break it down, clean it, and lube it before using, which I have done. You should be able to see the oil glistening off the bolt carrier group there. So she's ready to go in that respect. You're about to see my first shots. Haven't shot it yet. I know this brace looks a little wonky, but it's what I had to do to keep this thing following the rules. So I'll probably replace it later at some point, but that's what we got for now. It's not too bad. So I'm going to try some shots like this too in the video. And then currently, you're still, at least as of to date, what is it, July 2025, that is allowed to touch your shoulder there, so I'll do some of that as well. I'm super excited to shoot this thing. Have not shot it yet. It feels fantastic to me, like just the overall balance, fit, and whatnot. It fits me great. I can't wait to shoot it. I think I'm going to love it. Got my Sealy up here. We got to get her zeroed in, so I'm going to go down there on the paper. We'll get started getting this thing zeroed, knock down some steel, and then go down to the rifle range with it. Also, if we have time, I brought my chrono. I was kind of curious to see some of the velocity results we'd get. This is a 7.5-inch barrel, and I'm going to have some comparisons coming up with a 7.5-inch 5.56, so stay tuned for that. It's probably going to be a little while, but that's specifically why I wanted a 7.5. It's going to increase the velocity over a traditional handgun barrel length. We'll see how much. I guess I'll just go over the velocities and such if we end up doing that. Hopefully I have time to put that in that video here, because I'd really like to see what kind of velocities we get out of this from some of this ammo. And of course, as you can see here, these are all hollow points defense loads too, so we're going to make sure it runs those reliably as well. Alright, so like I said, the first shots, and I got to zero my optics, so I won't bore you guys with too much of that, but include a little bit. Go for that dot on the left there, and these will be my first shots. Well, that already bodes extremely well for the accuracy potential here. I'm just shooting that Winchester White Box 115 grain FMJ and put all three pretty much in one ragged hole there. Again, I was going for the dot on the left, so we are low and slightly right.
I won't bore you guys with any more of the sight-in process. We'll just do that off cam here and skip ahead to knocking these targets over.
And then you guys will notice this does not have last round hold open. However, you do have your typical button here, so you can lock it open manually if you want, and you can also drop it with that as well.
So you guys may have noticed there the bolt looked kind of stiff and catchy there. That's something that cleared up after the first few mags, and we ended up putting about 200 rounds through this gun in this video. And overall, it just kept getting smoother and smoother throughout the entire day. And by the end of the day, after it had about 200 rounds through it, it's super smooth now. And with zero malfunctions, by the way, as you'll see if you continue watching.
So we still got that empty mag in there. We'll go ahead and do this mag change. I was going to do a little rapid there for you, but that was the last shot apparently. Yep, we're out.
I am humble mule.
Alright, I just remembered I said we'd try it folded up like that, so go ahead and do that real quick. Still easy. Guess that was the last two out of that one. So I just realized I wasn't paying 100% attention because, you know, Brad was helping me load some of these up, but we just went through 100 rounds in like 5 minutes, including rapid fire and whatnot. Didn't even give this thing really a, you know, a chance to break in or anything, and it's been 100% flawless with the old crappy Winchester white box. And I only say that because a lot of people hate on this stuff, but personally I've never had any issues with the Winchester stuff. I mean, their 22 ammo sucks, but yeah, I'm loving this thing. I mean, you've seen how fast I'm able to shoot it, and these are first shots. Freaking tack driver. Super comfortable for me on my frame. I'm only 5'9". I know a lot of people say I look taller in the videos, but I'm only 5'9", and I got kind of small hands, but this thing just fits me like a glove. So we are ready to take it down to the rifle range now. And by the way, those bowling pins back there, I mean, it's super easy with this thing, but they're only about 4 inches wide, 15 yards. So, you know, it's basically a headshot at 15 yards, but I do that with, you know, handguns. So that ain't nothing for this thing. All right, I almost forgot. Actually, before we head down to the rifle range, I'm going to chronograph these and also kind of test for reliability. But we'll send some of those Winchester white box we've been shooting the whole time, see what kind of velocity we get. I'm not really expecting much higher than what it's advertising there, because I think that would actually achieve less than advertised from your typical, you know, 4-inch pistol. You might get lucky and get 1190 out of a 5-inch. We're going to try some gold dot standard pressure. I'll put up the velocity on the screen because it's not on the box. I got SIG Elite Performance. These are the jacketed hollow points, just like the gold dots are jacketed hollow points. 115 grain. They advertise their velocity there. And then this Plus P, and I'll try to contact Bear Creek if they'll answer me. I'm not sure if this thing's Plus P rated. I didn't see anything in the instructions saying you couldn't. I'd imagine they're probably going to give a generalized answer if they do answer me about, you know, maybe sparingly, but it'll wear it out quicker or whatever. But we are going to go ahead and run just a few of these HST Plus Ps here. There's their advertised velocity, 1200. So hopefully we're going to exceed that from a 7.5. I mean, it's not a 16-inch carbine, so it's not going to give you like, you know, 100, 200 feet per second faster, but hopefully we'll see some small gains from that little bit longer barrel there than what you get in even a typical full-size handgun. Then I got some of the Underwood, you know, Extreme Defenders. I was going to say, there it is. Where's it out on the box? I know what they're called. These are the 68 grain, and they are advertised at 1700 feet a second. In my experience, these usually do achieve advertised from regular sized handguns, so we might see a little more from this guy. And then I got some of the Liberty Civil Defense, advertised 2,000 feet a second, and from chrono testing in the past, these do 2,000 feet a second out of like a 4-inch barrel, so maybe we'll see like 21, 22 out of this from those. So I'm going to follow this order here, and I'll probably just voice it over in the video to make it easier, but basically I'm going to go from what, you know, should be the slowest to the fastest. So this is the order that we're going to go in. Alright, so this new camera I got here, if I step in frame, it focuses on me instead of downrange, so I'm just going to have to zoom you guys in. And then you guys can get the velocities there without it being blurry.
Alright, these are the Winchester White Box 115 grain FMJ, advertised velocity 1190 feet per second.
I'm surprised, those are quite a bit faster. Now the standard pressure gold dots, 124 grain I believe it was.
And these are advertised 1150 feet per second.
You see a higher velocity there because I just ran the SIG V crowns and I forgot to hit record apparently. That was our highest right there, 1361. Our lowest was like a 1290 something. All the others were coming in 13s though. But I got 4 more in the mag here, so we'll go ahead and send 4 more over for you guys since I did not capture that on camera. So these are the SIG V crown.
These are 115 grain, advertised 1185 feet per second.
And now we have those Federal HST Plus P.
124 grain, advertised 1200 feet per second.
Different weights. The SIG here, you know, it's not Plus P, but it's 115 grain. Whereas the HST, it is Plus P, but it's 124 grain, so it's a heavier bullet. But I would have thought it would have at least matched a standard pressure of 115. So those SIGs are pretty sweet out of that thing. All right, these are our last two. This is the Extreme Defender by Underwood. Again, they're advertising 1700, excuse me. I just wanted you guys to see the tips. A lot of guns have problems running these due to that extreme shape of the bullet there. So that'll be a great test for this thing. And then also the Civil Defense, the ones advertised at 2000. That's not it. Oh, I'm grabbing the wrong crap here. Let me grab one of these out. I wanted to show you the hollow point on it. Alright. So, pretty big gaping hole of a hollow point there. So, you know, that could potentially cause cycling issues as well. I don't think it's going to, but, you know, there's the, if we could ever get a freaking focus. Killing too much time on this video, but, you know, these all have pretty nice big stinking hollow points, but these guys down there, pretty wide mouth, and they go way deep in. So I'm going to send 5 of these through just for, you know, ultimate reliability test. See if it'll run 5 of those, no problem. And I got more at home, but this is my only box of these. So we're only going to run 2 of these just to see how much higher over 2000 we get with the Liberty Civil Defense there. Underwood Extreme Defenders. First one chambered, no problem.
Remember, these are 68 grain, advertised 1700.
Nice, 200 feet a second faster than advertised. And then here goes 2 of those Liberty Civil Defense, advertised 2,000 feet a second. And the 22s, there you go. I got gel tests on most of these from handguns. If you guys want to see any gel tests on those, check out the 9mm gel test playlist. I'll probably eventually be doing some gel tests. Now I got this guy here with the accelerated velocities to see what they do with the higher velocity. I'm also going to be doing some long range stuff with some of these, you know, exotic rounds here that are going really fast, but they got the really light bullets. I've always wondered if they'll be accurate long range or not, because if they are, they'll shoot a lot flatter. You know, you're not going to get that extreme bullet drop at 100 yards and beyond, like you would with a typical 9mm being a 124 grain bullet, because these are going so much faster. Now, granted, they'll slow down faster, but still, at least out to 100, 150, they should shoot a lot flatter. They won't drop as much. So eventually, I'm going to be doing accuracy tests on these long range to see if they're accurate all the way out there, not 50, 100 yards. So stay tuned for that. All right, down here on the rifle range now. I got it zeroed to where it's like, I don't know, 2.5 inches high at 50 there. So should put us pretty close to 100. Just getting it rudimentary right now. Still using the Winchester white box. Got to reach down here. 100 yards, that orange guy there. 10 inch. And then at the 200 yard mound, again, these are laser rangefinder confirmed. There's my 16 inch gong on the left side of that mound. So I'm going to start out aiming 6 o'clock in case we're still high at 100 on that 10 inch right there. I'll do some zoomed out shots, but I'm going to zoom in for the first ones in case I can't spot it with my own eyes. I can see here zoomed in exactly where it's going and adjust accordingly. And pay no attention to whether it looks left or right because the camera's at an angle, so it's going to play a trick on you. But I got it straightened out.
So I don't want this video to be too long, so I'm going to skip ahead to the part where I found where I need to hold to get reliable hits. Now, we were having some crosswind. We were having gusts up to 10 miles an hour that was staying steady sometimes, and then sometimes it dropped down to only like 2 or 3 miles an hour. But we had varying wind speeds, so at the beginning here, I was having to aim off to the left side, even though zeroed in, it was straight on at like 50 yards. A 10 mile an hour crosswind on 9mm at these velocities is blowing at about 5 inches off to the side. But I'll just skip you guys ahead here to the end where I found where I needed to hold for the wind and elevation and all that to get reliable hits on this 10 inch plate down here at 100 yards. Also worth noting, occasionally when I have a really accurate handgun, I will shoot my 16 inch gong at 100 yards. And that's a bit of a struggle, but if I have a good enough handgun, and that does include a 9mm or two in the past, I'm able to get reliable hits on my 16 inch gong. But that's usually splattering the gong kind of all over, so this barrel is only a few inches longer, but it really shows the advantage that this kind of platform gives you, because I would never be able to hit this 10 inch back to back to back without missing with a regular handgun.
All right, so 100 yards, no problem. Like I said, if I want to shoot that far, I really need to zero it better, but figured out where to hold, and we got 4 or 5 in a row there, so go ahead and stretch out to this 200 one. Yeah, the wind kicked up on me a little bit now. I know you guys can't hear it. This thing's got a decent mic in it, so it muffles the wind pretty good, but it is blowing a little bit now. But we'll reach out to 200. I'm going to have to aim off to the left some, Kentucky windage, because it's going to push that 9 off to the right. And I just got to kind of guess how high. I'm probably going to aim, start out a foot above the top of the gong at 200 there. See if we can get some hits.
Notice the breeze down there.
All right, so with that ammo at least, I was moving my aim points just a little bit down there, but pretty much holding high left the whole time in the same general area. And I mean, I was having to hold off to the left due to the wind, like I said, plus needing perfectly zeroed. But a lot of times I had the exact same hold, and the bullet would be like a foot lower than the previous. So we just reached the end of the accuracy potential of that ammo. Which reminds me, I was going to do a little accuracy test with the variety that we brought. See which one this one likes the best, which I didn't expect it to like the Winchester the best. It's just planking ammo. So basically with that ammo, not really accurate enough out there at 200 to make it happen. Not reliably, but you can see they're all around it and very close to it. So, you know, on a man-sized target down there, it's a hit pretty much every time. But let's see what ammo it likes better. And whatever it groups here at close range, because personally me, I'm not that great at grouping with a red dot or iron sights beyond like 50 yards. I'm thinking about actually bringing that up another 10 yards closer, just so I can see those little dots better. I'm going to put up a fresh target. But really, for me to print tight groups, I need a scope. Alright, I moved a little closer. Should be about 40 yards, and we're going to shoot some groups with a couple different versions. See what it likes. Let me get this rangefinder here. Good, I guess pretty good. It says 40.2 yards. Again, link in the description if you guys are looking to get yourself a good budget rangefinder. So we'll do some groups here at 40 yards. I just brought it up so I can see those dots better instead of guessing, you know, whether I'm covering them or whatnot.
So per my research, on average, a typical AR9 pistol groups 2 to 3 inches at 25 yards. But we are at 40 yards here, and I achieved that with 4 different types of ammo here, and some were better than others, as you'll see in just a moment. But I still, it's just my eyes, I could not see those red dots. I could see the center oval, but not the red dots. So when I was grouping on the red dots, I was just placing my green dot about where I knew the red dot should be and, you know, pulling the trigger. So no doubt if I could have a scope up on there, that these groups would improve probably, I don't know, maybe not twice as good, but probably close to it. So this thing's definitely pretty freaking accurate for a 7.5 inch AR9 based on my research, and based on the fact that I know I could do even better than this if it wasn't for the red dot and my eyes limiting me here at 40 yards. And those were the Winchester white box, which was not its favorite ammo.
And yeah, with my eyes, I'm having a hard time even seeing that center oval. So, that's the Winchester white box. But you let me put a scope on there, which you can't do unless it's a pistol scope maybe. You know, rules. There would definitely be a tighter group, but let's try the next one. Alright, we'll do the gold dot.
I get a pretty bad up and down string with these, which I believe is my fault again because I just cannot see the red dot. However, the next 2 groups with the next 2 offerings are really good.
Obviously, I was going for the dot on the left, and yeah, I can't see it at all with my eyes. I'm just putting that green dot in the black abyss there. So we got some up and down stringing there with those clearly. Probably me though, I don't know. Probably, definitely. It's a hell of an up and down string. So now we'll go for that top dot with the SIG V crowns, and I'm going to aim a little lower to make sure none of them are off the paper there. So I'm going to aim just a little lower on that one. Alright, those did pretty good. So now we'll do that Federal HST, which are the plus P on the right dot. Oh, a little bit out of focus there. Those aren't too bad either. So it's definitely preferring those last 2, the SIG and the HST.
Again, those are about 2-inch groups there with those last 2. And again, per my research, AR9 pistols typically only shoot 2 to 3-inch groups at 25 yards. And we are at 40 yards here. And that includes 10-inch barreled AR9s, and we're only running 7.5, so this thing shoots phenomenal for what it is. So if you dig it, be sure to check out my campsite page.
Over the Winchester white box, FMJ and the gold dots, although I have to say some of that up and down stringing, at least some of it's got to be me with the gold dots there. But I'd try again for 200 if I had more of the stuff, but I'm going to leave it at that. And like I said, I can't even see the dots. It's my eyes. It has nothing to do with the optic or anything like that. I shoot red dots 300 yards accurately all the time. So it's not that whatsoever. It's just I cannot see those little tiny targets I'm aiming at there to do that. So no doubt that would be improved if I had a scope up on there. Probably cut most of those in half. But it does certainly seem to have a preference for those last two over the first two. And yeah, like I said, with those Winchesters being one of its least favorite, we had no problem hitting that gong down there, that little 10-inch at 100 yards back to back to back once I found where I needed to hold, because again, it's not perfectly zeroed for that range. So I think that'll do it for this one though. Make sure you check out my campsite page for more details on this guy. For any of the products you see me use in my videos that I can link to, it'll be down below in the video description, like my shooting bag there, target stand, paper targets I use, still target, safety glasses, earmuffs, and way more. Everything I can link is in the video description. For everything I cannot, check out my campsite page. But we'll have more videos with this guy coming up, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching, I really appreciate it, and I hope to catch you on the next one. I'm going to send those last few at that 10-inch down there. If I get good hits, there goes in the video. If I don't, it doesn't. I gotta remember where to hold now. I already forgot. Now there's no wind, so it's heading off to the left where I'm aiming. Alright. Well, I missed a few off to the left because I was still holding left for the wind, but there's like no wind right now, so they started going off to the left. I was hitting the left edge, I think, and then those two missed off to the left because I was holding left, and I didn't have to. So, well, by the way, that's 200 rounds, including like 50 rounds of hollow points and all those exotic rounds. Not one single malfunction.